você que acabou de sintonizar a TV Ideal, eu sou o Carlos Melo e este é o Siga o Mestre, hoje conversando com Richard Barrett. Richard, you have already written 3 books. You are about to launch 2 more books. How are these books and your technique helping corporations evolve?
Well, I started with this work by thinking about personal transformation. So I wrote a book called A Guide to Liberating Your Soul, which is available in Portuguese. And then I wrote Liberating the Corporate Soul. So again, it's about transformation, but first one, personal transformation, second one, organizational transformation.
Through the people.
Yes. What I realized is that there are 3 mantras, if you like. First of all, cultural capital is the new frontier of competitive advantage. So who you are as an organization, the culture, is vitally important to your success. Second mantra is organizational transformation begins with the personal transformation of the leaders. See,
Of the leaders.
of the leaders, because the
Okay.
culture of an organization is a reflection of leadership values and beliefs. I say the culture of an organization is a reflection of leadership consciousness. So who you are as a leader directly impacts the results of the organization. Now, I know this to be true because we've been mapping the values of large corporations for close to 10 years now. And there are some corporations we've been mapping for 8 years continuously. And we see the evolution of the values, and every other performance indicator improves as the culture improves. But as the culture improves, it's really the leaders who are changing their behaviors that improves the culture. So, you know, it begins with leadership development, which creates employee fulfillment, which creates customer satisfaction, which creates shareholder value.
All right.
So many people say, you know, it's customers, customers, customers. No, it's not customers.
Not anymore.
It's leadership training to create the culture that builds employee fulfillment, because when employees are happy, customers will be happy, particularly in service industries like banks.
And then we have the third mantra.
The third mantra is measurement matters. Whatever you measure is what you get. So if you want to start measuring performance, you'll get improved performance. What I have developed is a means for measuring culture by mapping values to the 7 levels of consciousness model, which I spoke about earlier. And it makes it real. It gives you hard numbers. And you can see how values change year by year by asking employees simply 3 questions.
They are?
Which of the following values and behaviors most represent who you are? So they pick 10 values from a list of 80.
So you give the list.
Yeah, but it's customized for your organization. It's customized every time
By talking to the leader first.
by talking to several people in the organization.
All right, okay.
So list of values, 80 values, you pick 10 about who you are. Then the second question is, which of the following values and behaviors most represent how your organization operates? So this is another list, which again is customized.
Then you're getting the perception.
The perception of the current culture.
Okay.
And the third question is, which of the following values and behaviors most represent how you'd like your organization to operate? So you've got personal values, current culture, desired culture. And you can see the gaps between them. And you can see, these people have relatively high consciousness. They've created a culture which is full of things like bureaucracy, internal competition, power seeking, and they want all of these positive values over here. So how did these people with this high consciousness create this company with all of these limiting values when really they want this? Well, the employees didn't do it. The employees didn't do it. The leaders did it. The leaders created that culture. And so what I do is we map the values of an organization like this, and we feed it back to the executives, and it's like they're looking in a mirror and they go, oh my God, how could we, with these values, personal values, have created this when we want this?
And when you say, oh my God, it doesn't necessarily say that the company is not producing good results.
Well, it depends. You know, some companies show up.
Maybe or maybe not.
Some companies show up really positive, but the vast majority that we measure are in those lower levels of consciousness. They're in the survival mode, relationship, self-esteem mode. They haven't self-actualized. There's no sense of the common good. They're trying to be the best in the world rather than the best for the world. And it's all about self-interest rather than common good. And the self-interest is all wrapped up in the leader's success. So they're all very, look at me, I'm the boss, got this big nice car, I've got
Corner
3 houses,
office, all the benefits.
all this, and it's all about them. It's not about the entity, which is the organization. Can you imagine if your cells in your body did that? Do you know what that is called? It's called cancer. When your cells stop cooperating with each other and one cell starts to grow and develop itself rather than cooperate with it, that's cancer. And this is what I'm talking about here. It's about people saying, oh, wait a minute, no, it's not about me, it's about all of us. It's about the organization becoming a living entity. And my success can only come if everybody's successful.
Richard, you have just diagnosed, I won't say the problem, let's say the challenge, right? So what is the next step?
The diagnostic, because it gives you the desired culture, gives you some of the indications about what you have to do. For example, if bureaucracy is the #1 value in the current culture, we'll often see accountability showing up as the #1 in the desired culture. So the first one of the things you can do is, well, how do we reduce bureaucracy and how do we increase accountability? But actually it's much more than that, because the process of building a values-driven organization involves not only just thinking about the values, but it goes back to that point I raised earlier. If you want to transform the company, then you have to transform the leaders. And what I say to leaders is, when you embark on this journey, you have to realize this is a personal journey for you. It looks like you're trying to transform the company, but actually it's a personal journey for you. And if you're not willing to sign up for personal behavioral change, don't even begin this process, because you're going to build cynicism inside the organization. You're going to ask people about their values. They're all going to think, oh wow, we're going to do something with them, it's going to change. And then if nothing changes, you've made the situation worse. So you have to sign up as the leader to personal behavioral change, and so does the whole leadership team.
We have diagnosed, we have talked to the leaders, we have showed all the challenges.
Right.
What is the next step?
Now we start getting down deep with working with the leaders, because each one of the leaders now has to show up differently. So we do a slightly different analysis. We ask the leaders to go online and pick out 10 values about how they think they operate. And they ask, and what are their strengths and what do they need to work on?
Okay.
And then we also ask them to pick 15 people to do the same. So 15 people go online and say, aha, this leader shows these values, these behaviors, and has these strengths, and has these weaknesses, and here are some other extra comments.
It's a 360 feedback process.
It is, only it's mapped against the 7 levels of consciousness model. So we can see exactly where the leader shows up, and we can see where people think that leader is, and we can actually measure what we call personal entropy. It's so interesting. I look at organizations and I see the leadership programs, and therefore not for the top level, they're for everybody else. And the top level people think, I'm okay, I got here, so fine, I don't need any leadership training. My God, these are the people who need more leadership training than anybody else. And so when you have an authentic leader, there's nothing hidden. It's like, oh, wow, his heart is open, his soul is open. When I talk to him, it's like truth. And if he says he's going to do something, he does it. I can trust that person. I want to work for that person. This is the new leadership that we're talking about.
Have you seen the transformation yet?
Oh, we've been doing this work for 10 years. I see it in the companies that we work with, and all of the people in the world who use our techniques, they see it every day.
Richard Barrett, thank you very much for liberating my soul, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, I enjoyed it.
E o Siga o Mestre dessa semana vai ficando por aqui. Quer falar com a gente, mandar uma sugestão? Então mande um e-mail, sigaomestre@idealtv.com.br. Muito obrigado pela sua audiência e até a próxima semana. Olha o comercial. Nossa!